9. Then next thing you know,
the sneakers don't come back the same way.
Some Nike Air Force One more online.
Yeah.
Like maybe that's yeah. Didn't you know the key like this?
That's how you can't verify it. Welcome back to another great episode of the Loftcast, guys. Yeah, I think the third episode, strong enough to call it great.
Yeah, no, we're kicking off, yeah.
Nice. So, as you can see from the onset, we didn't have to get him behind from a curtain and say we're introducing. You know what I'm saying? Didn't take from the get-go we are dealing with. You know, today we have Kagiso Modupe on the Loftcast. We're about to have another exciting conversation.
Yeah.
Like guys, like, subscribe, the bell. Like it's going to be good going forward.
Yeah, this looks around, man.
I'm trying to think because there's somewhere where you put them. So we where do we put our bell?
Somewhere down there.
Yeah, no, it hits me all the time.
Yeah, so how's it good, man? So
I'm good, man.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity and then welcome.
Yeah,
it's funny, like before we move on to back, your book, as you know how I'm doing, the only place I got like
Yeah.
Is like no, will chill, but here it's like, hey, people are just like, hey.
No, casa su casa.
Yeah.
It's a very, very nice house.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
You know how they show all these videos on TikTok or like these guys, they're making it. I'm like, they never show up. You never see like the lives of guys.
Yeah.
How do you keep yourself personal to such a degree? Like, I want to go on and more personal life and all that.
I mean, for me, it's I'm doing it for me. You know what I mean? I'm not doing it for the world. I'm not doing it for to show off.
Yeah.
For me, I'm doing it for me, for my kids, for my wife, you know, my family, and that's why I always say it's a job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Being a film director or whatever. I don't know what I am these days. You know.
That's what we want to get to actually.
Yeah.
When someone asks you, what are you doing? You're like, do you have time?
Yeah.
So that's what we actually want to get to, like, because like single stream of income, single stream, like that's one of the conversations we're having on our previous podcast with he's like, if you're doing something so dope, people have to know.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, like there's so much information in the internet. People actually becoming narrow-minded than actually being open-minded because people follow like what you follow. Like TikTok will show you this one thing, TikTok will show you one thing, Instagram will show you one thing, and then that's how life is. So Jacob was all like hot money. He's kind of like he's on the down low. He's like, no, I'm not. I'm just doing things for me. It's just not grabbing the main. Like you have to be controversial. That's the thing.
Yes. No, this controversial thing we got over it a long time ago, you know, and this was when we were jumping into the industry, and you were told, no, you need to read the newspapers, you need, you know, for people to say something about you, and at that time I was broke, man. I didn't have time to go to these gigs, and they only serve you wine, you know. I was like, nah. Let me just focus on what I need to do, you know, build my own empire and direct my career the way I want it to be. And if there's anybody who wants to follow, then they'll follow. You know, and that's how I stuck it out. And it really helped because then you get out of things like bully drugs, you know, that's in the game. Because you are being yourself and you understand who you are and what you want to do.
Is that right? Like drug usage in the game, man?
I can tell you stories, man. I can tell you stories. Well, obviously, when I started in the industry, you know, and I remember scandal days. Every day there'd be an invite to a party, somehow, you know.
What?
And you get to the party because then you want to be out there, apparently, at that time. And it was still newspapers. You know, you need Sunday Sun to say something about you. But you get to cut the story short, you get to a party and it was a glass like this. you know, and it was people that I looked up to in the industry. And, you know, it was just white powder. And so obviously you're sitting there and someone's like, yeah. Great, oh boy, I like your work, man. I like your work. And then
this is
like,
you.
no, they don't even go, this is you. They go, yeah, I like your work, man. And the assumption is that you must jump on and do it. So, and I've seen guys that I was with at that time, same age group. And I look at them now, it didn't work out for them. Because they didn't understand, you know, who they are and what they're about. For now, when I left Joburg, when I left Kochai and came to Joburg, first thing time on Chalayona, Josie, Johannesburg, and it's one. So you must, two different places, and you must decide whether you want to be Josie or you want to be Johannesburg.
That's that.
I'm going to be Johannesburg.
You know what? This just made me remember this because I remember like kind of scandal days, like there's a time when your character
was on drugs.
He was on drugs.
Yeah.
How did that influence that character? Like the things that you were seeing. Was it a direct impact, or did you do your research, or was it so much around you that it was so easy to get into that character?
So when I do a character, and this is another thing why I decided I'm going to go behind the scenes and be a director. Because I can choose what I want to, you know, which roles I want to play. So if you look at my career, I've decided I want to play roles that have an impact. So in drugs, they were educational. They would show you the downfall of drugs. When I played on Mobile Now, you know, is to show, you know, the flight of woman abuse and gender-based violence. You know, and let me not say just women. But just gender-based violence, man and woman. So I choose the roles that I want. But to answer your question, I went to a rehab and I chilled there, and I was locked in a room with somebody who had just come in, and I had to now watch them. And that room was very small. I had to sit with them all night, and they were coming down on this thing, and this thing was leaving the body, and I could watch everything that they were doing. You know, and then I was like, okay, then I've got it. Then let's go and do it.
Oh, you saw the after effects of the job?
Yeah, when it comes out, 1 year. When you go cold taking, it's rough.
Do you know what I'm actually picturing?
Yeah.
Pardon me, can I know what almost sometimes I'm picturing this guy coming down on the drug.
I'm watching. Yeah, no, I'm sitting in my own corner.
So was that dialogue throughout, or he was like, we both, from his side, was he like, we both in this thing, or he was like...
No, it was a conversation. I would sit and have conversations, and he knew why I was there. You know, I'm tired no, this is what I'm about to get into. He was like, I know, come chill. He was alright, and then it started. You know, but there was a lot of talk between me and that guy, and even him. You know, the stomach cramps, the eating, all of that stuff, the sweats, the waking up, the hallucinations, and I needed to understand for which drug was my character going to take it. Because then, you know, most of the time you just watch people on TV, and then this one's on coke, and then they're reacting they are
on meth.
Yeah.
You're like, my character is such a
this thing is mad.
But that's one of the things that I enjoy, like, especially when you look at like you guys before social media, like how you touch the preparation that they had to do, and then someone that got casting because apparently there's some numbers for Instagram.
Yeah.
So as like you move in the background, because that interview on Kevin Hart, he's like, he won every interview he went in the room with. He got it.
Yeah.
But this thing, record yourself, send me.
Yeah.
It does not work. It's like, nah. But when he's big enough to do that, whole Joe. If you don't want me in the room, it's fine. So how did that affect like social media when okay, there was no social media, it was basically your talent was speaking for you now.
Yeah. Well, this is still some of the things that I'm trying to do Gabakwena Productions is to get talent and not numbers, you know. But as an independent filmmaker, you realize your factor when you have to sell. Yeah. If I'm selling to Netflix, if I'm selling to Mnet or Amazon, you know, the first thing that their model, they look at is not the story, is who's in the story.
Yeah.
So it forces me now as a businessman to go, okay, I'll get the actors, the strong actors, but I need to get strong actors that have numbers on social media. And if they don't have numbers, then my strategy is, okay, I'll get a strong actor, but then I'll support that actress with people that have numbers and try and work around that, you know. So it's very hard now. It's not about talent only, but I'm seeing that the people who have talent are also starting to get onto social media and trying to, you know, compete with the guys who have numbers.
Yeah.
I don't want to say we don't have talent.
Yeah, no, the talent is there. So, it's like get good and the bad, where social media now, there's a whole lot, it's like idols.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of people that have talent, but now the platform is big.
Yeah.
And the pool becomes bigger. Now to get that, say, that needle in a haystack, that becomes...
That's where you gotta be smart.
But would you say that content consumption is increasing as fast as the development of like certain devices?
Why do you think you're doing this?
Yeah.
So basically what we're saying is that there's a piece for everyone.
There's a lot of content out there, and I think it's pushing everybody to treat themselves as a business. And like what you guys are doing, I mean, you got a business, and there's a lot of guys who are dealing in cleaning. What makes you stand out? And that's always, you know, going to be the game. You doing this podcast is something that's different, that's going to make you guys stand out. Because let's be honest, we are having this conversation, but it's also about having to push your business, which is out there. So when I team we're turning the same cleaning product, same machine from the same shop or manufacturer.
And they'll do the same job as us, to be honest.
They'll do the same job as you guys, but what makes you guys stand out? You know, there's a lot of machita who are doing uklinamati. What makes you stand out? There's a lot of guys who are standing go the robot selling cakes. What makes you stand out? Are you cleaner? Are you funnier? Are you know, what is it that you're saying? I mean, I know this because I'm an entrepreneur from the beginning, you know. That's how I put myself through school. I've had nicknames for days, you know, tertiary. Yeah.
Can you share one?
No, I'll tell you all of them. You know, when I finished school, my dad said, "Hey, man, I can know your skill." But I organized your job with Spanico Kellogg's. You know, and I was like, I know, I did not package in my box. You know, I did cornflakes. You know, and I decided then that okay, I'm gonna go and do this thing. And I went into Rao, which is now UJ. And I was selling anything. I was called your go-getter. You know, I mean, that's where Java still called me, you know, your getter, you know. Yeah, you know, because that's how we met. I was selling him a saka. I was like, Natara. And I was doing gigs. I was called Steel Woolly because I used to sell the plates, that whole UJ. Everyone and I'm first-time officing everywhere. And when I went to pay for my fees, I was paying in coins. Do you know what I mean? And when do you know what I mean? And you stand
Lena, when you said that,
that was a dope story. I'm not even going to lie.
But it's the truth.
The hunger was real. The hunger was real. And like, how would you impart that like on somebody in general? Because I think, you know, one of the main reasons that most people aren't being as successful as they want to be is because, I mean, you know, like Banyata, the capabilities someone in certain things. Like, how would you help somebody in that situation? Because that's why not everybody's successful. Not everybody's successful because they are.
You're successful.
I would say I'm not where I want to be. That's how it's said. So I used to be big awards, but I feel like we somehow we answered like what makes you stand out. So this other conversation we had where we spoke about like we graduating to local varsity and we were expecting good jobs. And he mentioned like, yes, if I had my job, they paid me 50K or whatever. I would be at the office now. I would be pushing that, go get a shower, get on a bank sack, and I'm happy. But it becomes a question where Like people, one of the things I learned with economics, I wish I could study physics throughout high school.
Yeah.
Never knew demand and supply.
Yeah.
Yeah. Almost all nights of
Waste of time.
I was doing comments over us, and I was like, costs are stock. That was the thing. Like, you was small and then you'd go with lessons of comments. There's like girls' fair. I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
There's not gonna be 3 years of my high school.
But then you.
But funny thing, when you get to varsity, the tables turn, and women take like nursing, they take like the job and take more feminine, and then guys take accounting. That's how. So demand and supply, where you get people that acquire these skills, acquire so many skills that no one is demanding.
Yeah.
Like I'm in a situation where I'm skilled, export-wise, I can export anything out of the country.
Yeah.
But South Africa is like 90% imports.
So then what? Yeah.
So that becomes when you're looking for another job, like the pool is so small. If I was in China, literally I could be jumping companies like this because they're big on exports. But now,
I'll tell you
Because
what
you're
here. Here's the biggest problem, is that everybody's studying at varsity to be employed.
yeah,
That's where the problem is, right? And so, and this is why when you look at, and I'm saying already, people but on Kamantle, they studied to develop themselves. So that's why South Africa is the fertile ground for any foreigners, Chinese, whatever, Portuguese, whatever, Africa, it's the fertile ground because they come here and they have the same skills as somebody who studied Koyuche, who's sitting there and waiting to be employed. So they get here, they're like, okay, then I will create it and then I will employ you.
Yes.
So that's where the flop is.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? So it's the same as with me. I studied. I did my BSc in human physiology and anatomy, and the plan was to go, the medicine route. Man, when I found out the first salary, a doctor. I was like, I'm making that on TV. Why should
it doesn't make sense anymore.
It doesn't make sense anymore.
And that's like now you're gonna be growing at like 2 to 3% annually.
Yeah. So then, do I then follow and still wait to be employed by a hospital or employed by a man? I'd rather just push what I'm pushing here and create what I need to create here and be out there. So another thing is that we tend to look at our hobbies as the hobbies, and when you look at America, when you look at China, their hobbies become their way of life.
Yes.
And we are always catching up. Like gaming was like, it's a hobby, but in China, it's making money.
Like if you watch X Games, all those things are hobbies.
Yeah.
But someone can come the guy, the number one skateboard. Can I man we used to watch him on
Ryan Sheckler.
That man was
You guys went to the good school. You know skateboard?
No,
Ryan Sheckler?
No, funny. When I was in the class, and time was like, as in Panata, we chill motor. I got to the teacher.
Yeah.
It worked for me, but I almost spun it.
Yeah.
I almost spun it. Dishi, I was full for a while, and that's how we got sucked into American content.
Yeah.
And that was when DSTV, like, it was 99% American. You could see X Games, you could see her, like, gosh. And that was one of the things I noticed, like,
wrestling.
Wrestling, when I pay-per-view, like, shit, come on, like, ETV is gonna come after 6 months.
Yeah.
That's when you YouTube saw, I started picking up how behind we are.
Yeah.
Or like, shit, China's doing this thing goes states about born now. The conversations can't be the same.
We are always catching up, man. And that's another thing about traveling. You gotta travel. I travel abroad and coming back all the time is like a new idea. And this thing, they needed guys. The problem now becomes the funding and the finance. So, which is another problem, is that we've got an idea and we want to see this idea happening now, but it needs a lot of money now. And we're not willing to go and do an idea on the side so that it can fund this idea.
I get that.
So that's the problem, guys. You find there's a guy who is from Mozambique and he's a doctor, but this guy is fixing the exhaust pipes. Next thing we know, we are surprised and shocked when this guy's got a surgery. Guys. But he came in and he's like, I'm a doctor.
Yeah, I get to there was the guy at the back of the post office. That guy was studying his LLM at Excel Suite.
Yeah.
He was doing his masters.
I remember him.
Like, I promise you, if guys, someone who you knew.
Yeah.
Like, Diamond is either he's a lecturer now,
yeah,
or he's an attorney somewhere. And that's how
even after he graduated, he didn't jump straight into like the job market. That guy was still studying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now that's one thing that I've picked up is I picked up that, money is on the streets, man.
Mm-hmm.
Money is not in careers. Money is not in Igai. Money is definitely on the streets.
It is.
Yeah.
Like, government do these 2 years internships and then they let you go.
Yeah.
Part of the skills development. And I'm like, look, I learned sales. So out of varsity, that's when I learned to become. I was like, no, sales is a very unique skill that everyone needs to have.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how's not blind? If coming down not blind out there, you have to make plan for yourself. She's like, the economy is rough. I'm like, cash flow is out there.
Yeah.
It's going to someone else's hand.
Yeah.
So like, when I was Nikita, like we want to go Doctors Without Borders.
Yeah.
So I started that. And the guy would be like, guy, there's a person that has money at the mall.
Yeah.
He's going to spend it somewhere.
Yeah.
You make sure it comes to us.
Yeah.
And that's what he's like. Even that money, he's a cleaner. He has money.
He's got money.
It needs to come. And that's what all the
money has no face, man. Money has no looks. Money looks the same. That's what it is. Yeah. Money looks the same. It will never wear Gucci. It will never but it will buy you a Gucci.
Yeah.
So just out of interest, would you say that in your line, your career line, and how it's been growing, would you say that you prefer being an entrepreneur, or are you more interested in doing the acting side? Which one do you say takes the cup for you?
It's the entrepreneur, man. I'm a business. When I go in as an actor, I'm a business. When I'm, and the entrepreneur in me comes out more when I'm behind the scenes. And like now, I'm directing on House of City, right? I'm able to use that and create more work out there, and I'm not tied up. I don't have to be on screen to make money. And I can choose what I want to jump on. So when I'm behind the scenes, I'm able to create more because I was created to create. I always say that, But when I'm in front of the camera, I'm living someone else's creation.
Yeah. And that's the fun. That's when I noticed, like, and I lay Benji the actor. So
yeah.
I was listening to this other guy, like Guru. He's one of the managers, Zaka Jay-Z.
Yeah.
And then the guy was saying, like these new artists that are coming in, new creatives. It's like, I always say you need a team.
Yeah.
I mean, look at small businesses. A small business, for them to be able to make $1 million, I have at least 4 or 5 people.
Yeah.
That are literally working towards, like this. Let's say when our business will be turned around making $1 million, we would need to have at least like 20 minimum stuff.
Yeah.
Now you as an artist, when you look at yourself and you're turning over, say, $1 million by yourself. That's how we have artists that say, "Oh, like I blew it," because you don't have a manager, you don't have someone that's managing your finances.
Yeah.
You don't know where your money's going. You're not paying your taxes properly, and that's how the things. I was like, artists need to look themselves as a business.
Yeah.
Because I like someone like, you just open a business account, you won't have this problem with tax.
Yeah.
Please just open a business account, have a proper account, because all this money is coming in. Tax gonna leave you for 5 years, they'll be like, my guy.
And then they come back. Yeah.
This is how much you owe us. So artists just need to look at themselves as a business, and then they will see.
You know why? I just to be on their side, but I'm not saying it's right, is that this industry, especially in this country, it's not seen as a business.
Yeah.
But yet the government wants to tax it. On first time.
Yeah.
So there's a little hypocrite somewhere there. Because then when you're an artist, when you have to go to a bank and buy a car or buy a house, it's very difficult because of the kind of work that you do. But yet the very same system wants to tax whatever money that you make. So it is, and so it becomes very difficult for artists. And that's why I'm one of them say, okay, rather let's do cash deals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? let's do cash deals, because it doesn't make sense for me to be taxed when the government doesn't recognize my sector at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's also be like they'll look at what's coming into the account, be like, did you make $1 million?
No, I didn't.
Now you fall over 50%.
Exactly. Why one another? So now artists I mean, that's the mindset that they have right now, especially musicians.
Yeah.
Well, then why should I pay tax when I want double like I?
Yeah. And you're not giving any backup. But also with what Netbank is doing is, let's say if like an artist or like an entrepreneur, you work for yourself.
Yeah.
If you can commit to paying yourself
a
set income for the whole year, they will be able to assist you. So that's one of the things I picked up at Netbank. Because looking at us where we're looking for we don't have like payslip, it matters.
Yeah.
Payslip.
It does.
Our contract thing, like they want the payslip or what.
Yeah.
So I was like, now we going from that comfort of having a payslip where they have to call someone like, dude, does a person wake up and come to your office every day?
Yeah.
And they're like, yes, and they feel comfortable. So now we like.
I think it's because I mean it assures them that because those people in these financial institutions, all these players, you know what I'm saying? Because I mean,
I don't think, and I'll say it again, screw them.
Yeah, no.
I think they've never taken the time out to actually understand what an artist goes through. They've never taken the time to understand the business of an artist. They want to see the money coming in, and this is where corporate clashes with creativity. Is they want to bring this corporate structure, which is not a bad thing, but what they're doing is that they're imposing it onto the creative sector, and the creative sector says, no, you don't understand. I have 4 streams of income, and this is how I handle them. But when I look at my bank account, in a and who can every month. So somebody still needs to find a way
to work around
in banks, in corporate, to sit and understand how the industry works. Somebody in government, even Minister of Arts and Culture, they need to put themselves in the shoes of an artist. And that's why right now they don't know what to do with the industry.
No, they don't know. And you
don't even know what a call actor is, what a contract what a contract for an actor looks like, or a contract for a musician looks like. But yet you're the minister
of arts,
and I'm not scared.
No, that they give out like
we can't be afraid to tell the truth. And I keep listening to how people want to touch around the issue.
I don't tiptoe,
holding government accountable for the things that they do.
I don't tiptoe because nobody made me. Except for Mujimu Waka, and when it comes to especially even the industry, I can never say, Kiri, in this way government made a contribution to where I am. Nothing.
I mean, I'm just listening to your story. But your all those things.
There's no structure in the industry. You've got kids that are coming out of AFTA, and and all these institutions, and they're coming and they're looking for work. There's no structure in how they're getting fed into the industry.
I think that's what MK is going to be in 2 years' time.
That's the same way he's going to be. You're DOP. You're after you work or pasa, and then what? Is there any where you're going? You don't even know where you're going. You get what I'm saying? So now you have to know a Kagiso who knows a man and who's got a production house, and then you got to go and shoot this.
You have to know how to make connections now.
Yeah, which is still fine. It happens in corporate, but when you look at all the other sectors, there's a structure.
Yes.
You know when you're doing accounting, when you leave, you're going to get into the banks, or you're getting into JP Morgan, or you're getting into Guy.
Yeah.
When as a DOP, you don't know, but you're spending so much money, and you're here at my house shooting.
Because that's what lectures are doing. Like I think Kitty Fobo and they'll be like, pass, get the high marks, and then they'll come looking for you. Get your portfolio, your work will speak for you. But then I graduate and be like, thank you for your money. Here's the show.
I've got a certificate from after, and then what? But that's why if the industry is not regulated, it opens up a room for all these other eras to happen where people are using their bodies to get work, or where people are being cornered to say, so it opens up all these gaps for corruption because there's no structure.
True, I mean.
But yet, I promise you, like, if I died today, the minister would want to come and speak at my funeral.
Yeah. How great you were.
And luckily enough, it's on my will.
He's
not welcome. He's not.
But
I've planned my own state funeral in my own way.
Yeah.
And my wife knows how exactly I want it.
They'll be like,
that's it.
You can about like Kagiso stage, which you'll never see.
You know what I'm saying?
I have my stage.
Damn.
That's actually what I want now.
Yes.
I don't want the normal tombstone.
No.
But a stage.
And when I lived, I put myself out there. When I am being buried, I'm not going to be shy about it. I want to be buried like a king. I want to be buried, and there must be a route that people know this is where my coffin is going to pass, because I've dedicated myself in having to educate people through my craft and having to touch people's lives through my craft. I am in people's homes. In 5.2 million homes every single night, telling a story or changing a perception or educating somebody about this. So hey, if I go out, I want to go out with a bang.
You have to be celebrated, man. Living and after. So that's the next thing. I was having Luchemiaka. So we were thinking, we're like, listen, we academics. What does it mean for us when we say we're not live on? After, like, we're like, no, we can't.
Yeah.
As an academic, you're working, you're gonna make so much money, so you make money. Like this is like a CEO of
sure, and it will take time.
You can't live after because you did your work, you got your money. But that's one thing that actually pushed me, like, let's do content creation, because people are living long after. Like there's someone I got in 1900. That man wrote like a 12 stanza Silonyana, and he's living long after. And then that's one of the content creation is not as bad. It's just you just need to know why you're getting into content.
Still learning about Vasco da Gama.
Till now, do they?
He's not even bones anymore.
He's ashes now.
No, he's part of some like little bones anymore. So that's the beauty of life. So, but no, like when it comes to Daninya politics, like I was speaking with other guys, like about politics, and then they meant, like I read a quote: politics is too important to be left to politicians because they don't know what they're doing. All these guys are like, I'm going to be here for 5 years, I need to maximize. And it's not going to maximize for someone else. So they don't know that balance where how do you maximize. Yeah.
It's a business. You know what I mean? If we get onto, like, let's talk about this cleaning business.
Yeah.
If I become, or if you become a mayor, or go spanning, they elevate you and you are, the one that does the project cleaning, and you've got a cleaning business, why not? I've got no problem with it. Yeah, but make sure for it, then it serves the purpose of what it's supposed to serve.
Yes.
That's it. I'm not fighting now a politician sees an opportunity. Yeah, they see an opportunity, it's there. They fought to be in that position because they wanted to open up a world of opportunities. Then let that guy, but then serve the mandate that you're supposed to serve.
And I mean, I think most people would be fair to take that approach to a lot of the things that happen in front of them, if at least they could see that things are getting done. And I'm listening to you right now, you don't even want to see this minister guy because it feels like, there's betrayal of your industry and your craft at the highest.
No, I don't have a problem with him. The issue that I have with him is him trying to have why to I'm not cool, man. Go and be a minister, go do your thing. Yeah, well, fantastic. Yeah, that's where the problem is, because in how we talk, you actually coming and you lying to our faces and no, we've been there doing our thing without you.
Now you're gonna come in at the height, and then try to, because that's the thing irritated. Like when it comes to like creatives and let's say actors, like you literally know you're on your own. You and your time gonna get yourself there. And then when you're there, someone is like,
next thing, boom, I'm dead. The first person that wants to stand there is the minister at my funeral. Not my uncle Olaring in Manaka, sorry, we are auditioning, boom. You know, Zamona man, we are auditioning. And the thing is, you know, our families get so hyped up after that. Listen, Losing the Rato won 10 international awards.
Yeah, it was
right? We came back, we got airport, we had the crowd there, we had just because this film was not funded by government, the minister didn't give a hoot. Who goes to LA and wins 10 international awards?
Because I remember
Tando's won 4 international awards.
Yeah, those are good.
There's never been a film in this country that has ever done that. And the minister did not acknowledge it. I went and I got a 1.1 million men to circumcise in one day because we were trying to prevent cervical cancer in women. In the history, it's never been done by Department of Health. It's never been done. Why was not the minister there to say, you know, we've been pushing this thing off, trying to eradicate HIV and AIDS, trying to eradicate cervical cancer in women, trying to push, safe sex and all of that. How many people have passed? It's still a pandemic. AIDS is still a pandemic. You know, cancer is still a pandemic. And when you go and you do that, they don't recognize it. But if it was beneficial to the minister at that time, he would be there. He would be there. Did he say, okay, we created it on our own. We got bikers, we got man, we put our own flyers and everything, right? Okay.
Because I remember,
so when I die,
no one.
Back to the point.
Let me ask about that's interesting how the world works, especially now especially in Joburg where that's how it's a funny concept.
Yeah. How about so man? Like, you know what it's like? It's like, well, I'm getting worked up. It's like those ants, you know, that want to shine, Galif.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah, that ant who was never there for you, probably even doesn't even know Horofedita metric or anything. But when you die, they're like, and then you're like, what?
Mama I'm like, no.
That's what ministers are like. Literally, they want to shine when you are dead.
Horrible stuff.
They want to shine at your funeral.
Yes.
About swag.
No, that's a funny thing. So, but speaking about I was watching House of City, where you're never turned to similar concept of bullying.
Yeah.
And then funny, as growing up, we took us in a and that's how we literally the way we'd sit in circles. Because in a
roasting
it was that was not even roast, it was baiting. So growing up so I was like, that's when I realized I had no roast, and so I was watching more House of City bullying. Yesterday's episode one was like, no, I don't want to go to school, can't believe and I'm like, dude, this scoring actually helped us have thick skin. You don't take as much as it was bullying, but you don't really learn how someone else's words and
every
time
time
hurt you that.
I'll say every time something is labeled and that label is perpetuated, it becomes a problem. I can tell you now, bullying, I don't want to say feminism, but those things that we were talking about at some point, you get what I'm saying? It's now that there's this label, everybody has to conform. No, that is bullying. Everybody's talking about bullying, and it's making everybody soft. But people don't understand that when you leave here and you go out to go and audition for something, that you can literally be bullied by whoever you're auditioning for. You understand? They can tell you that dude, you're worthless, you can't do this and that. You have to develop the ability.
It's not all bad, but it's there's some necessary evils that has to like some tough love. So when you tell like I've tuned up when I was like it's better to raise a bully than
sort
that out.
You know what I'm saying?
You sort him out because at least like the emotional damage of someone bullying and then the emotional damage of someone being bullied. Like, oh, he's like the victim, like, oh, and they hold it properly. So, but I've changed my stance. Like, when I can be the bully, we'll try to fix you later. But how do you tell that story where bullying is not really kids need to be kind? We need to be kind, manufacturing, we need to be sensitive of other people's feelings.
Yeah.
Because some people just need tough love, nyana. Like,
it's a tricky one, man. I mean, I've got a film out there about bullying, you know. My take on it is we are all beings, and we're all different in terms of our emotions. And taking it back to Hanare Guarana, you'd find there'd be one guy and he'd laugh, you know, and you'd find the other one at Lalwana. So I think having to create the awareness about it is that once something affects somebody emotionally or psychologically, then it is, you know, bullying, because then that person's not receiving it well. But when we get onto the thing of tough love, I feel like the world does need tough love. And that is why we are finding that a lot of people are now so oversensitive that they are starting to feel sorry for themselves. And you grow up with that thing where and once you get into a space where we call self-helplessness. And then you get into depression. And then that's why we see a lot of suicide. And when when you read the suicide note, you realize, this person, okay, but in all honesty, this was unnecessary.
It wasn't that deep.
No. And I'll say this, and I'll say it boldly, you know, as men, we're all going through something, you know, and only someone who kill themselves because I guess bad. Go and do something. You want to commit suicide because you went to varsity and now there's no work. No, create the work. This is what we were talking about. And you don't have to be doing what you were doing. Even at COVID, I was selling my water under COVID. Do you know what I mean? My industry shut down. But I went out there and I got my water. I'm Kagiso Modupe. I am famous.
So who's gonna buy that bar?
And they're not gonna dispute the price.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And I was selling bottles.
And they're not gonna dispute the price.
Where am I? No.
Do you know who sold me this bottle, bro? It's a conversation for the party.
Here's the worst part of it. You thinking only my bottle that had booze in it. No. Even the empty bottles.
Recycling.
The recycling, eating. I went out there and I got those brown bottles and I gave them to a bottle store or Hormane the Baisandi because and guess what? My kids ate.
They did. And I believe that to some degree you're prepared for things to stop in such a way that even when you ended you were still had that momentum to keep pushing what you're doing.
It's about having to everybody's got an ego, but it's you not allowing your ego to become about others. Do you know what I mean? If you don't have ego, I'll tell you that. Do you know what I mean? You go hungry. If you're gonna have an ego, you won't be able to land things. You know, how an ego because you're gonna feel like you're gonna be stupid.
You know what I'm saying?
Or even to ask for help.
Stop
having an ego. Go out there, do what you need to do, boom. You know? Who says Nani Grexama COVID? Who went past it? Regina? Yes.
The whole time.
The family child.
You didn't have your hand out to the minister.
Did he grant
It was 100 million that they promised the industry.
Whatever. I didn't apply. I didn't ask for any grant. I went out there. I walked around the yard. And I checked the reel. That had been sitting there. And I collected those bottles. And I went to go sell them. And I provided for my family. No secret.
Oh, and that's what people need to do, like, basically, because people just want to sit, it's generational curse. Yes, like the poverty thinking is generational. When if it's your parents, you can inherit some debt, like something. But now, you're not in the same position your parents
were.
Yeah. You can't say, no, because I come from this area, this is how I'm thinking. Because I always feel like, if Namakata, I like to internalize them.
Yeah.
Because I feel like when I internalize them, I can solve them.
Yeah.
Now I feel like, it deep, like,
yeah.
you can't.
Yeah.
Something feels you don't come out. It's not like, let's say, how do I have to make you flu? You like, I have to get medication for you. But if you internalize it, I don't have
yeah.
So like, you do the same, like, flu, get the body warm enough and then do burn up. So I feel like if people just internalize whatever, even though someone said, like, someone like, even though someone cover for tech, what Motumon would say for tech to themselves 10 times.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is our for tech? So who's your I said you for tech and then I left you one. You told yourself like 10 times.
It's funny like, saying that. We're talking about how you react to the situation, you know. And it's very important. How you react to whatever, whether it's an insult, whether it's struggle financially, whether how you react to a problem is very key. And if you're going to react negatively, and maybe you key, you know, or it's a whatever. How you react to it is going to determine the future of that emotion. And it's okay to say it's a attack. You know, okay, sharp. But how can and there are those people there are people that love misery and about and you know, if you didn't learn through COVID, no.
There's something's really really bad.
But it's child.
If you come to think about it,
like
honestly, if it hadn't been for COVID, I don't think you and I would, my friend and I would have started the cleaning business. I think that as a reaction going forward was something that, you know, a lot of people
and don't forget, click, like, subscribe.
And then people like, how much I hate it. Like, I used to give someone, I'm like, I've clicked, I've subscribed. So I'm like, now I'm on the other side.
I'm like,
click, like.
But here's my question to you guys: what if people don't click? What if people don't like your business?
You know what I think? I think either way, it put us in a position where, I mean, like, the positive attribute of this would be that maybe people actually really like it.
Let's say people don't click.
No, but
let's say people don't like.
I'll answer. Let him answer. But I'll answer the line.
Yes, I'll answer that. If I can finish it. Like,
it's my interview now.
I think that either way, remember that the business is surviving, right? And what we're using is this platform to speak about interesting things and get so many numbers that people actually realize while they're sitting at home watching that, hey, I remember watching these guys saying that they're going to do this. If it doesn't happen, there will be other platforms to do it on. You get what I'm saying?
What if there are no platforms to do it on?
No, I'll walk. I do this.
Business is business. You try, you let it fail. You just like, what happened there didn't work. I want to buy camera. So I always feel like that, if like any business that you're doing, like a restaurant business, it's failing.
We're gonna have an episode on that.
We have an episode on like business, and actually that's one of the ideas that way we want to. I look at this.
You guys are tiptoeing around this question. I asked you one question. And it was a simple question. It was, what if people don't like your page?
Now say that. I get to it. Look, now...
You stop and try another. You exhaust another
avenue. So if let's say the YouTube...
But you guys missed it. I said, what if people don't like your page and not your product?
Oh. No, but now your question was not...
It was open-ended.
No, it wasn't open-ended. What if people... We said people must like. What if people don't like? Do you get what I'm saying? You know Panjel.
Punjab,
Yeah, you get what I'm saying?
Angel, the sip.
Yeah, those are your
Right? And you've never seen an area Panjel.
Never.
Right? But it's huge. It is huge. Go Bantuna. Do you get what I'm saying? And those women have so much influence in how to clean in that home, more than the owners of the home.
Of course.
And a lot of people get introduced through domains, the cleaning product, because everyone's living. We are spanning. We are guy. We got a wife. Maybe maybe I clean. Maybe it's the reason why you even got a helper. You know, because everybody's living their dreams. So maybe as an idea, you start something with your influencers who don't have social media, but who are here, who will be selling that product to the big households.
Yeah, because like the thing, again, we have a company that's cleaning our world. So we had the cleaning that we can do ourselves. We had the cleaning Yaselo, like normal couches, and then the valets. So as the one, we have what we call where you can literally come and clean the whole house. So I was always an executive shop, to be honest. I've always been at 1,000 rand off. So that's where we'll have like cleaners, someone looks at my water, someone employees. So I had like these other ladies on standby. Fumigation was big at COVID. Where someone's like, dude, I'm sitting in my house, I want to be freshly clean, everything, carpet's done. So I know I got to clean up the kitchen, the mop, I hate that. I don't want to do that. So it's something that we look into where we have a section of the business while we go. So we have someone that can literally clean, and then we'll have most of our women where they should clean, and they tell people, this is how we do it. Because we're not in the house, like most of we clean like in apartments and stuff. That people our age.
But you are in exports, right? So then also create a product and export it to the world.
No, for me, I'm always game for that. That's one of the things I actually want us to have. This where we actually have followers who we say, guys, we want to take this outside, help us out, because I know a couple of factories. Because funny, when I learned economics, you don't really have to bring something new. Bring the same
thing that's been
if you know like this,
there's always a market. There's always a market share.
Rebrand it and then sell it, because that's literally company that I'm looking for. That's what they do.
There's KFC. So Kuruman fried chicken. Same thing. You go to Kuruman, it's there. Kuruman fried chicken.
Because that's true, but that's what I would love. So expert will never leave it. So when I have money, I'm like, I'm gonna take a container, put it in the storage unit, package everything myself, and the people I know that can package something for you, and then just get a truck, export, or do via take a load. So once take a load does exports, that'd be interesting where they can export to Botswana to say because you just give them a product. So they're looking into it. But I want to see if Amazon, because Amazon will be like, fuck, you guys are literally, they're coming with big checks now.
So even a film.
So you're having a product, and then just see how, like, if you want to take a product here, export it, what are you going to be left with? Because you get into instances where you can't get a product. Now, the value chain you have is like 10 rand. And then
go back to the basics. I think here's the thing. We all trying to be trendy, and especially black people. We follow a trend and
we saturate the market completely.
You know what I'm saying? And I always say, go back to the basics. People still want to walk into a store. Whether you like it or not. They still want to walk into a store. They still want to feel the product. They still want to smell
the shopping experience.
They still trust the walking. Like there's so much hacking and thing that's happening, and cyber crime that's happening.
You can't verify it. The people who lose like a lot of money. They buy things online. There's a shop they have to go collect. When they go there, the shop is
it's actually like it's actually a big scam online. That's why I only buy like food, take a lot of Shopify. There's people that open websites on a daily basis. And then you'll get everything. You'll get the receipt. You'll get confirmation that person will call
The
you.
whole thing.
Delivery is on your way. Number off.
Yeah.
That person is done for the
You'll
day.
never get it.
Done for the day.
And then that person will, and that's one thing I was like, go, you don't have government that do that, where you actually monitor the website, like, is this a shop? And banks get that in where, like, you work in banks, they just enjoy the fees.
Yeah.
Where you can, like, a scammer like Yoko, whatever, these kind of third party do the transfers. They're supposed to be, but fuck it, I'll enjoy the money then.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
So you're sitting in the seat of the
no one is
benefit.
complaining, like, well, then this company will block it.
Yeah.
And you know, because everyone just turning a blind eye for it. Hey,
Yeah, well,
it is.
that's the country you live in.
Yeah, but
Yes.
no,
The world we live in.
no, but things like
Yeah,
we can. I think we can go like over. Say like, I think what we'll do, we'll actually do. So since we'll mark like this month was like officially hang another year.
Yeah.
So another year will take like what month?
Yeah.
Yeah. The couches. The
Yeah.
the beds.
The like tables now. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the whole business, and then there'll be other avenues, and then there's one thing, other shows. That's one thing in the
And you'll be done with school.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
You should be coming through. Hey guys, listen.
Yeah.
I want you guys to put the cameras here.
Yeah.
We see
Yeah,
the-
talk about that, like,
pretty
Get it done,
specific.
get it done.
So
Get it right, please.
yeah, so hopefully next year we'll launch like we a lot can learn from business that have failed. Not really like we tell too many success stories. That's how I feel like where we tell how many people have done good. We just want to talk to people like how business failed, how people can acquire, what are you gonna do for it? Like I wanna know how I blew it.
Oh, yeah.
I blew it, it just focuses on you. You had the money. It's a nice story to tell about. But we just wanna do how I blew it, for the business.
The
You had a
business.
great idea, you
Yeah,
put money into it.
Yeah.
And then we wanna see
You must come here.
You have a lot.
A couple of.
yeah. We'll do it.
Definitely.
I do this one.
Just
Everything is
man,
gone.
look at your tech, I see I'm on that. I'm like, you know what? So,
What do you think?
because the name I blew it in on that, but we'll see if you can't come with our own. I blew it.
I blew business.
Yeah, I blew
Yeah.
business up. Let's go tech, I see I'm on so
Yeah.
it'd be.
No, but Bakiji,
Guys.
Mr. Modupe, we really appreciate you bringing us into your
Yeah. Why?
I was telling my dad that I'm going to interview you.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a conversation with you,
Yeah.
basically. I was like,
How far? What far?
This guy was like, you know what he says to me the first time? Because I remember he's like, wasn't it to say interview Kagiso FM?
Yeah.
And he enjoyed that
Yeah.
interview.
Yeah.
Like he enjoyed it so much. When I told him about it, he was like, oh, what are you serious almost?
Yes, because that's parents want to see the results, and then but not by blame, like our parents were like, "I want to get bus driver." So
Yeah.
his thinking is he never pictured us there.
Yeah.
Okay, gets in his get like working in corporate.
Yeah.
So like it's one of the things like it'd be nice to do like a segment with our parents.
Yeah.
And then, because they were never like, "Hore, do you think never label because they just want us to do officing?
Yeah.
Man, I go like 20,000. How
Yeah.
about home?
Yeah.
That's it.
But-
And they
but-
judge by the crowd like how you
Yeah.
dress.
But my mother's not like that funny.
Yeah.
My mom, where she's legit like any resilience that I have towards what we're about to go through as far as
Yeah.
business is concerned,
Yeah.
I probably got from her like,
Yeah. Like this.
if it's on two ways, just to make this point.
And those are the things that we gotta learn, ideas, even from the drunk Malume who is, go sit with him. And I'm not talking business ideas, I'm just talking about life as well.
Conversations.
You know what I mean? Just sit, have a conversation, learn. You'll be surprised how much you'd learn. Yeah.
And let them chill.
Yeah, because you can learn so much of someone telling you, like, I'll be honest, this is what not to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna be like,
messed up,
this how me, like, if you do this,
Yeah.
it's gonna put like, Mama Pitbull and the Fetcho. Pitbull was like, he has more money than Fetcho, but he came after Fetcho. It's like,
Yeah.
I watched my brother 100%.
Yeah.
I did everything, I didn't do everything he did wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say I did everything. Like, he took
Yeah.
me in,
Yeah.
and I could see
Everything
what he was
from what
experiencing.
you're- yeah.
And then I was like, no.
Not there.
That
Not
person
there.
in the room,
not
No,
expensive.
well, but, and then that was a blueprint with everyone that took it, and that's the boy uncle or like you have uncle or we always make joke uncle that has been more Joseph for so long.
Yeah.
With like culture that happened to us too.
Yeah.
And then he's like,
I'm done.
yeah. I'm done. Or you buy something to resemble when like he's done something. Look
Yeah.
at that. Well, and then that tip will be the precious thing more because that's the only thing that you can show her like this is what
I've accumulated in my life.
It is what it is.
Yeah,
But yeah, again, Mr. Modupe, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Like you're super talented.
Thank you.
To like get into the conversation, and I hope next time like
we should invite him to go. He's like, I'm sure we could cook. He's like, nah, like I said,
No. I'm a good cook, man. No. Don't mess it up.
Just like stuff.
Let's get one. Let's actually have like it's to say. Let's go to it to say, and have like a cooking thing with to say.
Yeah, we've been thinking like we're gonna be the farmers market again.
That once off thing, that's like proper go up and then you can chill, do it again.
But I mean, that needs like that needs a lot of things. Let's keep it simple.
Yeah.
And repeat the pizza, and we have. Here's Kagiso who's gonna cook this. Do you know what I mean? And here's Tebo who's going to cook this. Moose is gonna make this. Let's go eat.
No, it is.
And then I buy a plate deal.
Yeah. No, we agree with that. No, and people will judge. People judge you.
Yes, no.
There has to be a win. I'm competitive.
No, pizza you and
guys.
No,
my mom still believes that I needed to have been a chef in my life because of the skill. Go but relaxing and understand.
Yeah, my mother thought I was going to be an astronaut.
Take that one out. Shit, my But thanks again, guys. Guys, really hope you enjoyed this episode of the Lovecast. And again, like, subscribe, and hit the bell for that notification. Personalize it so that when you're chilling at work and we upload the episode, it goes bing, and your phone, and you're like, oh, Musa, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Peace.
Thanks.